On this episode of the Open in Indiana podcast, we meet a professional who can help health and wellness professionals connect with their patients' emotional health. Don't miss it. Welcome, everyone, to the Open in Indiana podcast, where we feature the people, places, and events that make Indiana a great place to live, work, and visit. Today, our guest is Adi Shakti, the founder of Soulwork. Adi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing so well. Thank you so much for hosting me.
Well, thank you for being our guest today. So, Adi, let's talk about your business, Soulwork, and what you're able to do for your clients.
Yeah, so Soulwork is an organization that was founded in 2014. So we've been in business for just about 6 years. And the foundation of what it is that we offer are yoga teacher trainings for professionals that are looking to offer the ancient teachings of yoga in their communities. And so we have been based mostly, most of our programs actually happen in Costa Rica. So we have an ashram, a jungle farm there where we host people from all around the world. But I've been living and based in Indianapolis my entire life, born and raised, went to Rebuff. And so I have my roots here. So we have a lot of people within the Indianapolis community that we have educated as well. But we are a global network of seekers looking for creative ways through this holistic lens to support the healing of our communities. And so we focus on educating people who are wanting to guide emotional, spiritual healing experiences for community members.
And so, Adi, what is your background as you came to found your new business?
Yeah, so my background in college, academically, I have a degree in the philosophy of social justice. And so initially I was kind of a pre-law track and have always been really passionate about humanitarian work and was in the line of studying these great thinkers, Immanuel Kant and Jeremy Bentham, all of these great philosophers and their ethics. And in exploring these Western philosophies, I finally kind of stumbled across the Eastern philosophy. And so I was studying, Buddhism, and then ultimately came to the yoga philosophy as well. And so I became really curious about the yoga philosophy. And I always knew that there had to be more than just these postures, kind of like the workout, that's really common, commonly practiced and talked about in the West. And so I was curious about, what, culturally, historically, what was behind this movement practice. And I was just blown away, with the depth of the information around ethics and the nervous system, emotional health, mental health, the science of meditation, how all of these things can make our lives better. And so I became really, really passionate about teaching this particular philosophy, not only, the physical practice that, we see a lot of, but really educating others on the deeper layers of the practice.
And so, Adi, before we started our episode today, you shared a term with me I had never heard before called trauma-informed. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, up until the last 20, 30 years even, trauma was a concept, initially called shell shock, and then later called post-traumatic stress disorder, which was really just a term that was used when referring to men that were coming back from war. And so these really, really extreme circumstances that they would find themselves in, where they would have emotional, psychological ripples from these traumatic events that they were experiencing abroad. And with that understanding from what was happening at war, this really opened up an entire new science of this trauma theory and understanding how trauma actually affects everyone. From early childhood traumatic experiences to car accidents to, just day-to-day stressors these different experiences of too much, too fast is how we define trauma, can really create an environment of anxiety, of depression, of really an unhealthy relationship with our emotional life, reactivity. It impacts the quality of our relationships. It impacts our ability to be productive, to stay focused, all of these different elements. And so with the trauma-informed practice, what we're starting to see is that as yoga teachers or as wellness leaders, we are inviting people into our space with the intention of offering some sort of healing, whether that be physical, emotional, psychological, or otherwise. And it's really, really important, and I would argue even ethically necessary, to have an understanding of trauma theory, and different signs and symptoms that we can see when we're working with others that may indicate that they are experiencing trauma. And there's different ways and approaches that we have as leaders and as facilitators, as wellness professionals, to be able to work with particular clients and the trauma of those particular clients to make sure that they're actually in a position to receive what it is that we're offering them. And so weaving in this trauma-informed education, this trauma theory is extremely important as we continue to cultivate our professionalism as wellness leaders, to make sure that we're hyper sensitive and skilled and actually being able to have a positive impact on other people's lives.
And so, Adi, you're able to train health and wellness professionals in person and virtually about how to understand trauma in their patients and clients.
Yes, absolutely. Uh-huh.
Would you like to share a little bit about some of the trainings that you're able to offer?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, most of the education that we offer is through the lens of yoga. And so we have, the introductory 200-hour program. And this is what you're going to see across the city in Indianapolis is this introductory program. It's a very, very common foundations course. And we love offering our 200-hour program. And where Soulwork is a little bit different is that we focus more on established professionals that are wanting to learn how to serve specific populations or how to take these foundational teachings even deeper. So we have the 200-hour foundations. We also offer education in prenatal yoga. So how to safely teach pregnant women yoga, teaching them about their rights in the hospital room, teaching them about different birthing positions, the history of birth. So that's the prenatal. We also have the 300-hour, which is the more advanced yoga education program. It's our most extensive and thorough program. It includes that trauma-informed element. We also offer the trauma-informed teachings as just a smaller specialty course. We have a yin training as well, which is another division of the yoga practice where we're offering these slower practices. So those are all our virtual trainings, and those are actually available in English and Spanish. Most of them are available in Spanish as well, virtually. And then in Indianapolis, we have our Soulwork Global headquarters at the Stutz building, actually downtown. And we will be hosting a live introductions course. It's a 3-week long course at headquarters in Indianapolis this summer, actually July 2021. So we have a lot of really beautiful professional development intensives and spiritual growth opportunities for people that are passionate about this art of holistic wellness. So lots coming up.
And so, Adi, what is one thing that you wished you knew when you were a new business owner?
I wish that I would have understood that success is not linear. And that there are many different indicators of success. I think that when I first got started, I was kind of focused maybe more so on the bottom line as being kind of what was going to indicate whether or not I was successful in my business. And over time, I've shifted that thinking to recognizing that for me personally as an entrepreneur, impact on other people's lives is our success indicator. And when I, over time, being kind of able to let go more and more of that kind of bottom line philosophy, we've actually, the business has grown. We're a multi 6-figure, hoping to come into a 7 figures this year business. And we've built that by putting our clients first. I think that early on, I was financially kind of organizing myself, thinking that every year would kind of build, on itself, and the realities of the growing pains of, hiring and then kind of catching up revenue to be able to pay myself the same that I was before I hired, and continuing to expand, and things like, coronavirus and all of these other elements that we can't really foresee. I wish that I would have been more financially organized and financially prepared initially. It's for those dips, because they do happen. But again, I'm really thankful that, in those dips, as far as the financials go, I'm still able to remain optimistic and confident in the success of our business, again, because our top performance indicator and our top success indicator is impact on our community and with our student base. And so, yeah.
And so, Adi, how can our listeners get in touch with you if they'd like to learn more?
Yeah, so you can go to soulwork.com, SOULWORK.com. We have a film there, actually, that you can see. We have our own podcast as well. There's some free resources and free trainings for you there on the website. So there's lots there for you on the website. And you can also, of course, learn about all of our upcoming professional development intensives there. If you want to get in touch with us directly, you can email support@soulwork.com, and we're happy to get all of your questions answered there.
Awesome. Well, Adi, thank you so much for being our guest today. And to everyone watching and listening, thank you for catching this episode of the Open in Indiana podcast. Catch our next episode soon. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Open in Indiana podcast. If you enjoyed listening, subscribe to us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Music, iHeartRadio, or on our website, openindiana.com/OII podcast. Thanks for listening.